Hey everyone, it's Sarah Hawthorne at Planetary Sarah. I wanted to make a quick video today about Hugh Hefner's life. I really didn't know much about him until I started watching American Playboy on Netflix. It's a documentary miniseries about his life. And it really shows what an entrepreneur he really was. He was very innovative, very interesting, analytical, perceptive, intellectual, lots of really interesting stuff. So I just wanted to go over a quick video in honor of his life today and his death that happened yesterday. May he rest in peace. Using Vedic astrology from India and the sidereal zodiac, not the tropical zodiac used by Western astrologers, the following information applies to Hugh Marsden Hefner's chart. He was born April 9th, 1926 at 4:20 p.m. in Chicago, Illinois. So this gives the rising sign Virgo, indicated by the number 6 in the first house, and the sun sign is Pisces. His moon sign is Aquarius. Virgo-born people are very communicative. They're attractive, charming, analytical, and detailed. They have sharp intellect and business skills. These people are writers, artists, financial advisors, authors, and salesmen. And Hugh Hefner was just that. He was an entrepreneur, a publisher, a film producer, a music publisher. He owned a record company, theaters, modeling agencies, gambling casinos, limo services, and of course Playboy magazine. What he is most known for. The ruler of Hugh Hefner's chart is Mercury, in the 7th house of partnerships, relationships, joint ventures, and marriage. So this gives a focus on these areas of his life. This says he can connect his partnerships with joint ventures and business ventures. He started Playboy magazine in 1953 with only $600. And we see that during that time he was in a Saturn main period. And Saturn is placed in the 3rd house of entrepreneurial success, self-initiatives, and independent projects. In 1960, he went into a 17-year favorable Mercury main period because Mercury rules his chart. During this time, he started the first Playboy Club in Chicago, and by 1966, he was well worth over $100 million. So this was during his Mercury main period, which rules his chart and connects him with business endeavors as well as with partnerships, relationships, and joint ventures. He was once quoted as saying that he'd made love to more than 1,000 women. With Venus in the sign of Aquarius, it's no wonder his romantic relationships were a bit unconventional. Sun is debilitated in the sign of Pisces, and this gives some sort of lack of support from father. And Moon is in the 6th house of conflicts. So this also can give a lack of support from his mother. He was raised in a typical Midwestern American Methodist Puritan home where there was no outward show of love or emotion, not so much as a kiss on the cheek, he was quoted saying. He did feel that he was loved, but there was simply no demonstration. And with these difficult placements of sun and moon, it's no wonder he may not have felt much support from his mother especially, and from father in its debilitation sign of Pisces and in old age at 26 degrees. So this just weakens support from father. He married his first wife, Mildred, in June 1949. So if you go back to 1949, we see that he was in a Venus subperiod, and Venus rules wife. This ran from February 18th, 1948 until April 20th, 1951. With Venus in the 6th house of divorce, it's easy to see why this marriage didn't last. Hugh Hefner had a setback when he suffered a stroke on February 7th, 1985. So this is the transit chart for that day. On that day, we see that Mars, which rules the 8th house for him, which is death-like experiences, was conjunct Venus, which rules the Venus system. So this transit lasted until March 11th, 1985, but there was likely relief around March 6th when Mars moved more than 2 degrees away from Venus, causing some stroke. He remarried on July 1st, 1989, and so this is the transit chart for that day. We see Venus ruling wife was transiting his house of gains. And they separated in 1998. So if we look at 1998 on the Vimshottari Dasha sequence, which is the timing of events in a person's life, we see that he was running a Venus-Saturn subperiod. Venus, ruling wife, is again placed in the 6th house of divorce, showing multiple marriages and divorces, and Saturn was the operating subperiod. Saturn rules the 6th house of divorce. And at the Christmas holidays in 2010, Hefner became engaged to marry 24-year-old Crystal Harris. This also was during another Venus subperiod. We see started April 28th, 2009 and ran until April 28th, 2010. Venus again rules romance, and usually there is some serious romance or matrimony during Venus subperiods. But his Venus is in the 6th house, connecting him again and again with divorce and conflicts over time. The wedding was scheduled for July 18th, 2011, but a few days before, Harris canceled, saying she was having second thoughts. This occurred during his Moon-Mars period. Moon is in the house of divorce and conflicts, and Mars rules the 8th house of setbacks and obstacles. Hugh Hefner had the planet Jupiter ruling children in the house of children along with Mars, indicating male children. He had 3 sons and 1 daughter. And he died at his home in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles, California, yesterday, September 27th, 2017, at the age of 91. He was running a Moon K2 period, which started July 28th, 2017, so about 2 months ago. And it was going to run until February 26, 2018. Moon is the operating main period, and it is again in the 6th house of health issues, and K2 is the planet of suffering and detachment. So during his K2 subperiod, he detached from his body and left this realm. And this is the transit chart for the day of his death, which was yesterday. And we see that Sun, ruling his 12th house of losses, separations, end of life, and hospitalizations, was transiting his 1st house of self. Not only that, but it was directly afflicting at 10 degrees his natal Mercury at 10 degrees. So we just lay these planets over here on the natal chart and see that at the time, Sun at 10 degrees was directly afflicting his Mercury at 10 degrees to the exact degree, indicating loss of life. If he survived his K2 subperiod, he would have run another Venus subperiod and probably married for the 4th time at the age of 92 or 93.